Hi, everybody. I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome inside Heinz Field and welcome to Steelers Live. A little bit of news this week about Ben Roethlisberger and his future with the Steelers. Team President Art Rooney II released this statement on Wednesday saying, quote, Ben Roethlisberger and I met yesterday morning and we had a productive meeting. We were able to discuss a lot of things that relate to where we are and where we want to go. Ben assured me that he is committed to coming back to help us win, and I told Ben that we would like to have him back to help us win a championship. We both understand that the next step is to work out Ben's contract situation. Welcoming in now Mike Prisuta of the DVE Morning Show to break things down for us. And I guess, Prisuta, this was something we knew that we were going to be closely following this offseason. We heard from Art a little bit earlier this offseason, then Kevin Colbert last week. Now this statement. What do you make of what Art had to say in it?
I think we take him at his word. I have no reason not to. He says, we would like to have him back. He did not say, nor has Kevin Colbert said when he talked with the media in the offseason, nor did Art Rooney say the first time he talked to the media in the offseason, Ben's our guy, 1,000% he's coming back next year. This is going to happen. I think they want to get there. I think they will get there, but it's been a slow trip, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I think if you recall Art Rooney II talking to the media in January, he said, quote, we may have to look at doing some things different just based on the size of the challenge that we have. And I think what he was referencing there, Missy, the amount of free agents the Steelers have, the challenge of still not knowing exactly what the salary cap is. Then you talk about who you're dealing with. This isn't a contract extension unlike any that they've tried previously because of who's involved, the size of the contract, the uncertainty about the salary cap, the age of who's involved, and the perceived transition of the team, including a new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. I think there are a lot of things to crunch out here besides the numbers, to try to give you a perspective on where I think they are. I would say the ball's in the red zone, and they're going to try to stick it in the end zone and have Ben Roethlisberger be the quarterback next year. But, I think we're somewhere between the 20 and the goal line. We haven't crossed it yet.
I love football analogies on football shows, so I do appreciate your off-season analogies and humor. Now, the thing that I think the big puzzle piece is, you mentioned, Mike, we don't know what the salary cap is going to be, and that's not good for anybody, especially when they're dealing with the size contract that Ben does have left. But do you feel like, in terms of a resolution, seeing if this can be worked out, because that last line said they both know the contract is what they need to do next. Do you think this is going to have to happen sooner rather than later?
Yeah, people are probably aware he's got that $15 million roster bonus that I believe is payable the third day of the new league year, which the first day of the new league year is March 17th. So I have that right. I think what they're trying to figure out, and that's why they kind of have a time frame here. Everybody wanted this kind of figured out at the end of the season. You'd like to know sooner rather than later, but guess what? There's no urgency right now. We're getting to the point where they are going to have to figure it out, but I think they'll have it sorted out once the cap stuff becomes a little more concrete, and when they're ready to go into free agency. You figure out what you have to spend, and then you figure out what your most precious commodity to spend it on is, and then you figure out what else you can afford. Kind of like when you go out and buy a new car. Do you get the winterizing package? Do you get the leather seats? Or do you just get the vehicle? They have time to sort out what they need to sort out. I wish it was resolved a little bit more definitively than it has been to this point, probably the way a lot of people do. But I get that it's a process. I understand it's pretty complicated. It's going to take a while longer.
All right, March 1st, next week. Okay, Mike, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Missy.
One of the tools the Steelers have used heading into free agency through recent years, of course, is being able to franchise tag a player. That is something that was able to start on Tuesday for all 32 teams, and that goes until March 9th. Here is General Manager Kevin Colbert last week talking about if that's a possibility for the Steelers this year.
I would say it's doubtful that we'll be able to use a tag. Again, when we say we don't know what the cap is, what we always try to do is prepare for the worst situation. Right now, we know the cap can't go below $175 million based on the CBA. So we'll always work in that mindset, and we'll play different scenarios and put together different scenarios in the event. That is what we're dealing with, and we'll try to guesstimate on what a certain player may cost us, be it our own player, be it someone else, and we'll always weigh that and measure that against what might be available to us in the draft.
All right, and after Kevin Colbert spoke last week, the league did announce that the minimum that the salary cap would be this year is $180 million, so $5 million more than what teams were anticipating. Again, still waiting for that number as everybody across the league is trying to finalize their plans before the start of the new league year. That's going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll be back here next week.